guys, it's Michael with Mays Leatherworking, and I just wanted to talk to you all today about leatherworking maker mark stamps. I'd been wanting to get one, for a while, but the price of the metal stamps was honestly just out of my reach. And I'd reached out to 10, maybe 12 stamp makers, with my design, and I was told the same thing by each and every one of them, that the skull design in the middle of my stamp would not translate well over to a metal medium. They said there was too much shading, too much detail, and that it just wouldn't come out. Well, for me, that was just unacceptable. I put a lot of time into creating my mark, and, I want it to be what I created. I'm not going to change it. So after, looking around and reading a lot of forums and doing research on, where to get a good maker's mark made, I ran across a link to 6elementsworkshop.com, and it's ran by a gentleman named Adam Carroll. And his setup was a little different. He makes his stamps out of a high density plastic called Delrin, and he laser cuts all the stamps with a real nice, impressive laser setup. And he was actually able to get all the detail in the stamp that I was looking for. I actually couldn't believe how well it came out. Now, before I was using this, I have a small laser printer here at home, and what I was doing is on the smaller items, I was using a laser engraver to put this image on my items. Now, that worked okay. As you can see here, if I can get it in there, it does burn into the item, but it left a bad smell, and you're very limited to what I could do because of the work area on the laser. So I really wanted to get a stamp made, so I sent him a proof of a vector file from Inkscape, and it was of this picture right here, which is my stamp design, the same one that you see on here. And if you look, they're really almost identical. And I was astonished with how much of the shading actually comes out with the stamp. If you look at an impression here, let me see if I can get that a little bit closer for you for a comparison. There you go. Now, if you look at that, now of course it's not exactly the same, but when you press this in to well-cased leather, it literally looks like it's shadowed. It's because, when you press that in there well, it kind of burnishes the leather underneath. So in this center section here in the skull, as you can see right here, it looks like it's shadowed. I couldn't believe how well it actually came out. The letters are in there nice and deep. You can see all that detail. And it was a very simple process to get it ordered. I sent Adam an email, just letting him know, hey man, I heard you make maker's mark stamps, and want to go over the process with you, see if we can get something made. It probably wasn't 30 minutes to an hour. He got back with me and said, hey, send over a copy of your file or a picture. Now, I had a vector file from Inkscape, so I sent that to him, as an attachment on my email. Within about an hour, he was back with me with our first proof. We made a couple of small changes, which he did beautifully. Got the final proof back to me, which was great, and I okayed it. And then, he got it cut out with the laser that evening. It was in the mail to me the next day. And then 2 days later, I received it, first class mail. It was packaged very nicely, wrapped in bubble wrap, completely undamaged. It was exactly what I expected. Now, another bonus with working with Adam was that his pricing is very reasonable. A 1" by 1" stamp, like what you see here, starts out at $26. Now, I use mine on an arbor press. I have a cheap half-ton arbor press that I bought at Harbor Freight. I did take it to a machine shop to have it modified a little bit so that I can use it for, setting snaps and rivets and whatnot. But you don't have to have that done, of course, to set a Maker's Mark stamp like this. But his price starts at only $26. And for the quality of stamp that you receive, I mean, that to me, that was a heck of a bargain. I really couldn't pass that up. And, I've talked with a lot of other people in the leatherworking community, and they said, well, I'd love to have a stamp, but man, I just can't afford to have one made. Well, for $26, I think any of us can afford to have one made. And if you've been leatherworking and, you want to have your mark on your items, to show people where it comes from, then to me this is a great alternative to the metal stamps. Now he makes them like this with the flat back, which is what I requested, or he does have the option to have a handle attached to the stamp. Now that's an additional fee, of course, but if that's what you want, he will do that for you. But, when I ran across this, I thought it was just a great option, for people who might just be starting out or like me or on a very limited budget, but still wanted to have a nice quality stamp to use on their items.